Bonjour et bienvenue dans votre leçon de français sur le troisième conditionnel. Hello and welcome to your French lesson about the third conditional. So, what about si plus perfect and then the conditional past to talk about an unreal past, a condition that didn't happen in the past and its imagined result. Okay, so it's the equivalent in English of if plus the past perfect and then would have plus the past participle. So let's dive into it. Si j'avais étudié, j'aurais réussi l'examen. If I had studied, I would have passed the exam. All right, so si, okay, it will be if. J'avais étudié, I had studied. So here we have the plus-perfect, okay? Auxiliary avoir conjugated in the imperfect plus the past participle, which makes the imperfect. And then, j'aurais réussi l'examen. J'aurais réussi l'examen, conditional past. Si nous étions partis plus tôt, nous ne serions pas arrivés en retard. If we had left earlier, we would not have arrived late. So, si nous étions partis plus perfect, nous ne serions pas arrivés en retard, conditional past. Because here we have the auxiliary to be conjugated in the present of the conditional. Nous serions pas arrivés, and arriver here will be the past participle of the verb to arrive, arriver. Okay, and arriver takes an S because here we use the verb to be, who is agreeing with the nous pronoun. Okay, so other phrases. Si tu m'avais appelé, je serais venu. If you had called me, I would have come. Si elle l'avait su, elle aurait dit la vérité. If she had known, she would have told the truth. Si elle l'avait su, elle aurait dit la vérité. Okay, so beware because even the natives are doing this mistake. The si clause never takes the conditional. Okay, never say si j'aurais su, say si j'avais su. Okay, so the pluperfect just comes after the si. Okay, so we need to form the pluperfect, the avoir or être auxiliary, and then the past participle. Okay, so for example, j'avais mangé, I had eaten. J'avais mangé, tu avais lu, you had read. Elle était partie, she had gone. Or nous étions levés, or we had stood up. Alors, j'avais mangé, so here we have the verb avoir. So the verb avoir conjugated in the imperfect, and then manger past participle. Tu avais lu, same thing here. And to choose between être or avoir for this plus-perfect, plus-que-parfait, the rules are actually the same as in the perfect, passé composé. If it is a reflexive verb or a verb not tolerating a COD, we use être. And for the others, we use avoir. Okay, so for example, manger tolerates a COD because you can eat something. Okay, so here we're using the verb avoir. Okay, and manger is not a movement verb. Okay, but for example, partir is to left, so here we're going to use the verb to be, and here we're going to conjugate this verb to be into the imperfect. Okay, so elle était partie, and I'm going to use the verb to be in the imperfect to form the pluperfect. And then the conditionnel passé, so the conditional past. So you just need to conjugate the present of the conditional of the verb avoir or être, and then to add the past participle. So j'aurais fini, so j'aurais is the present of the conditional and the first person of the plural of the verb avoir, plus the past participle of the verb to finish. Okay, so fini. So, I had finished here, j'aurais fini, or I would have finished, sorry. I would have finished, because it is the conditional past, okay. J'avais fini is I had finished. Tu aurais vu, okay, so same thing here. Vu, past participle of the verb to see, voir, and aurait is the verb avoir conjugated in the present of the conditional. Il serait venu, nous serions partis. Okay, and also do not Forget that with être, the past participle agrees with the subject. And with avoir, the agreement only comes if a preceding direct object is in the phrase. Okay, so les clés qu'il aurait trouvées. And here, trouver is going to agree because les clés, here is the COD and it's before the conjugated verb. Common uses and the most common use of the conditional, so of this C clause, is the regret. Si j'avais mieux travaillé, j'aurais eu de meilleures notes. If I had worked harder, I would have had better grades. The reproach. Si tu avais prévenu, nous aurions pu nous organiser. If you had warned us, we could have organized ourselves. Si le soleil avait brillé, nous serions allés à la plage. If the sun had shone, we would have gone to the beach. Okay? So, also, aurait pu, could have, aurait dû, should have, aurait fallu, it would have been necessary. Okay? Si tu avais demandé, on aurait pu t'aider. If you have asked, we should have been able to help you. Common mistakes. Si j'aurais su, si j'ai étudié, j'aurais réussi. That's wrong because here you are using the conditional just out of the C. Okay, so always C plus perfect. Okay, and then the conditional past. This is the rule number 1 when you're using this C clause. Okay, and the word order can actually flip. Je t'aurais appelé si j'avais eu ton numéro. Or you can say si j'avais eu ton numéro, je t'aurais appelé. Okay, so here you can actually interpret the two clauses, the C clause with the consequence clause. Okay, and let's compare with all the C clauses that we actually learned in the B1 course. So, C plus present, then the future simple. It's for real or possible future. Si tu viens, je t'aiderai. If A happens, then B will happen. C plus imperfect and then the conditional present. It's for unreal, present or future. Si j'étais riche, je voyagerais. Okay, so hypothetical here conditions. Okay, if I would have been A, I will do this. Okay, si j'étais riche, if I were rich, I will travel. Si plus que parfait et ensuite le conditionnel passé, it's for, as we just learned, unreal past, regret, reproaches. Si j'avais su, je ne serais pas venu. Dialogue. Victor et Chargely reviennent sur leur semaine et imaginent d'autres issues. Si j'avais relu mon mail, je n'aurais pas oublié la pièce jointe. Et si j'avais vérifié l'horaire, on serait arrivés à l'heure. Si le cours n'avait pas été annulé, j'aurais pu présenter mon projet. Si on s'était parlé plus tôt, on aurait dû réserver des billets flexibles. Promis, si j'avais su tout ça, j'aurais agi autrement. La prochaine fois, on anticipera. Recap. C plus PP, or the pluperfect, then the conditional past, is the equivalent of the English if plus past perfect, and then would have plus the V and in. Okay? So, actually, it is pretty simple because you only need to know how to conjugate the pluperfect and then the conditional past. Okay? Quick patterns. Si j'avais su, j'aurais agi autrement. If I had known, I would have acted differently. Okay, so these patterns are really widely used in French. The reproach. Si tu avais écouté, on n'aurait pas eu ce problème. Okay, so often you're going to hear this in France. If you had listened, we wouldn't have had this problem. Si elle avait postulé, elle aurait pu être prise. If she had applied, she could have been accepted. And that's the end of today's lesson about the third conditional. So if you have questions as usual, please feel free to ask me. Si vous avez des questions, n'hésitez pas à me contacter et j'espère vous revoir en cours ou alors à la leçon prochaine. D'ici là, portez-vous bien.